The following individuals and families are examples of people who participate in a consumer-directed model called IHSS here in the state of Colorado. Please enjoy the following video series.
I'm Lori Felberg. I'm Mason Matthews' mom. We live in Mesa County, and I'm his primary caregiver.
Can you talk a little bit about the impact that the IHSS program has had for you and Mason and your family, but primarily you as a mother and a caregiver?
It made it possible for me to stay home with him. We wouldn't have been able to afford anyone else, and he didn't want anyone else. And so when I called the county after we got back from Shepherd Center, asking what was available for assistance, they described the program and asked if we wanted to try to get into that, and we said yes. That was the start of it.
Okay. And what was the time frame from the time you heard about the program to the time services started? Do you remember?
I think it was nearly 4 months. Mason was so catastrophically damaged that the hours that needed to be approved were tremendous, and they kept having to go up the ladder of authorizations.
Okay. So what do you think that impact has been for you, just as a caregiver, and knowing that there is a plan and a program? How does that impact you on a daily basis?
I can relax and think about what next for Mason. And so together we've done miraculous things.
Can you give us some examples of some changes that you think have...
Well, the doctors really doubted that he would ever be able to drive a wheelchair, a power chair. He had no feeling below his, or no ability to move anything below his ears. He had no soft palate. No swallow. You kind of need the soft palate to even use the straw to drive the chair. He didn't even have that. And he worked, and I trained at Shepherd Center until he started moving fingers on the one side. And then we just every day worked a little more, a little more, a little more from there.
So
I needed to be able to concentrate on that.
Okay. So this is your time to brag a little bit about how far Mason has come and what he's able to accomplish now.
He can dress himself my size. Try dressing a large man. He's tall, you can't tell. It's hideous. He couldn't even move his trunk enough to help me in any way. He can dress himself. He can take care of his own personal processes. He can work at his computer. Yes, well, his swallow came back after several months. That took, again, a lot of exercise and everything, a huge amount of determination on his part. And so he can feed himself. I still do some, I cut his meat and things like that because his right side isn't great yet, but just unbelievable difference.
During his therapy sessions when he is at the Life Center, describe a little bit of your role in supporting him as he's going through his exercise routine.
When I go?
Yeah, when you are,
mostly it's
like
Crystal.
when I was there.
Okay.
Sort of what does that look like for any caregiver that would be supporting him, you or Crystal?
When we go to the Life Center, they have the facility. They have a high mat, so he can get on it, and there's quite a bit, half hour, 45 minutes of stretching, which is critical because he's got spasticity, particularly on his right side. So, like, you need to be able to straighten your arm and your fingers and his right leg. It's important to.
That's part of what
muscles.
you do.
Yes, yes.
Actively be part of that
There are very
therapy.
specific ways that you need to stretch him. They taught me that at Shepherd Center, and Crystal knows how to do that.
Okay.
And he practices things on the mat, sit to stand. He does that there, he does that here, he does that hours every day to get himself going. He gets on the treadmill now. That was his idea. And their treadmills there have an automatic stop in case he loses his rhythm, but that patterns his brain for the rhythm of walking. It's very different from walking over a surface yourself where you're hesitating and thinking. So he does that. He can
And when he's on the treadmill, what is the role of the caregiver?
stand right there because his balance isn't perfect yet. He can easily fall. And then of course, as I said, he's very stiff. So it takes a lot of effort to get on and off the treadmill. So the caregiver needs to help a lot with that and get the chair in the right spot and that kind of thing. Yeah. And then he also is able to use a lot of the little resistance machines. For instance, the other day when I was there, he was doing the sit-up machine, the abs machine, which of course he had no abs at all in the beginning. And now he can do, I don't know what he was doing, 85, 90 pounds, which isn't what you can do, but I mean, it's amazing.
It's a real improvement,
And he does leg machines and arm machines.
Okay.
And he'll use the Bioness now.
Could you describe the Bioness, please?
It's electrical stimulation of his muscles that don't work when he asks them to yet. The nerves are all there. Everything's there because of the damage in his spinal cord. The messages don't go up and down. Plus the spasticity. When he asks a muscle to do something, the opposite muscle also fires, which is a result of a spinal cord injury. That's what happens. And so this fires the proper muscle a good amount so that it overcomes the other muscle and makes the walking process go forward. So he uses the carpeted hallway at the Life Center to crutch up and down. He started out at 7 or 8 minutes to do the little hallway, and he's down to 3 minutes something.
Great, good.
Try to get a useful walk.
Okay, very good. Are there any suggestions that you may have for any healthcare reform if they were to consider the value of these types of programs?
This is the only program I know, and he's going to be a working taxpayer soon. He won't be on the program. He'll be working and paying for his own health insurance. And for someone who started out where he did, I think that's pretty wonderful.
Right.
Things can happen if you pay for the right things, help people along.
And the value of the program for you, expound a little bit on just how the IHSS program has had value for you.
Well, all my objectives, my goals, everything were gone when he was injured. And his recovery took over, and mostly because that's what he wanted. That's what he asked for. That's what he told people he wanted. And that's what he spends every minute of every day working toward. And it's allowed me to help with that.
Good. Well, we appreciate all of your support and care, and we're very impressed with your motivation, Mason. Thank you.